Have you ever lied to someone and instantly felt your heart race? Or maybe you told a tiny white lie and moved on like it never happened. Either way, you're not alone. Lying is so deeply rooted in our daily lives that we often don't notice when we do it. From dodging awkward conversations to adding just a little sparkle to a boring story, we do it almost every day. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Research from the University of Massachusetts found that 60% of people lie at least once during a 10-minute conversation, and those who do usually tell an average of 2 to 3 lies in just that short span. So, what does that say about us? It tells us that lying isn't some rare moral failing. It's a basic part of human behavior. But why? Why would evolution allow deception to become so common, even rewarded in some contexts? That's what we're unpacking today. Let's start from the beginning. Long before humans built cities, created currencies, or wrote books, we were social animals just trying to survive. And in the animal kingdom, deception is not a bug. It's a feature. Take the eastern gray squirrel, for example. When it senses another squirrel is watching, it'll pretend to bury its food in one spot, only to hide it somewhere else entirely. This isn't random behavior, it's strategy. Cuttlefish can change their color pattern on just one side of their body, depending on which other fish is watching. They literally show one truth to one viewer and hide it from another. That's nature's version of a white lie. When humans evolved with more complex brains, we didn't leave deception behind, we enhanced it. Our ancestors discovered that lying could help them gain status, avoid punishment, attract mates, and even lead others. And with language came the ability to deceive without even lifting a finger. We could lie with just a few words and change the course of an entire relationship. But what exactly happens in the brain when we lie? When we tell a lie, several parts of the brain light up, especially the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning, problem-solving, and regulating behavior. It's like the brain's control center. It calculates the risk, constructs the story, and suppresses the truth. At the same time, the amygdala, which processes emotions like fear and guilt, goes into high alert. That sinking feeling in your stomach, that heat rising in your chest. That's your brain reacting to the psychological stress of bending the truth. But here's the chilling part. The more we lie, the less the amygdala reacts. Over time, habitual liars don't feel that punch of guilt or anxiety. Their emotional response dulls. Lying becomes automatic, just another tool in the box. And no, lying isn't just for criminals or con artists. You and I do it too. Often, and for all kinds of reasons. Imagine a friend asks you if you like their new haircut. You say, "Yes, it looks great," even if it's not true. Why? Because you don't want to hurt their feelings. That's a pro-social lie. A lie meant to protect someone else. These are the lies society silently approves of. Then there are self-serving lies, like telling your boss you were late because of traffic when you actually overslept, or lying about your qualifications on a resume. These lies are designed to protect or benefit you, sometimes at the expense of others. And then, there are the big lies, the ones that rewrite reality. These could be as extreme as financial fraud, cheating, or manipulating others to gain power. But here's the twist. Most big lies start as small ones. A little exaggeration here, a slight omission there, until you find yourself stuck in a web of dishonesty, unsure where the truth even begins anymore. Now, let's look at the different types of lies people tell. There are white lies, meant to keep peace or avoid hurting someone. There are exaggerations, where you stretch the truth to sound more interesting or capable. Then we have fabrications, complete inventions with no basis in fact. And omissions, where the truth isn't denied, but carefully hidden. And finally, compulsive lies, told without any clear benefit, sometimes just out of habit. But the question remains, why do we lie in the first place? Well, According to psychologist Bella DePaulo, lying is often used as a form of social lubricant. We lie to smooth over awkwardness, avoid shame, escape punishment, gain power, win love, and sometimes just to keep things moving. In one of her studies, she found that most lies aren't told out of malice, but out of necessity, or at least what the liar perceives as necessity. Think about it. When someone says, "I'm fine," when they're really not, that's a lie. But it's also a defense, a way to avoid vulnerability, a way to protect one's emotional space. Sometimes we lie because telling the truth would require confronting things we're not ready to deal with. But what's the cost? Lying might seem like a quick fix, but it's not free. It takes mental energy to maintain a lie. You have to remember what you said, to whom, and when. It creates what psychologists call cognitive load, the mental strain of juggling falsehoods. That's why even the best liars slip up eventually. And then there's the emotional toll. Chronic liars often experience stress, anxiety, and fractured relationships. They lose trust, not just from others, but in themselves. Because when you lie often enough, you begin to question everything, even your own truths. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. We lie to ourselves all the time. It's called self-deception. We tell ourselves we're fine in a job that drains us, that a toxic relationship is just going through a rough patch, that we're making healthy choices when we're clearly not. Why? Because the truth is hard. It forces us to change, to confront, to act. And sometimes, denial feels safer. Psychologists suggest that self-deception helps us maintain a consistent identity. It's our ego's way of protecting itself. But too much of it can isolate us from reality. And when that happens, growth stops. Now, let's not pretend that all lying is evil. It isn't. Some lies are necessary. They serve a purpose. They maintain harmony. They protect people in vulnerable situations. Therapists sometimes use therapeutic fibs to guide a patient through trauma. Parents lie to protect their kids from harsh truths they're not ready for. And let's be honest, without white lies, most dinner parties would be unbearable. Lying is complicated. It's not just about black and white. It's about context, intention, and consequence. But here's the deal. The more we lie, the more we reshape our reality. And the more we bend our reality, the harder it becomes to live honestly. Eventually, we risk losing touch with who we are. So, what can we do about it? It starts with awareness. Start noticing the small lies. The casual, "I'm busy" texts when you just don't feel like talking. The automatic "I'm fine" replies when you're not. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of by telling the truth? Because truth, while sometimes uncomfortable, builds something powerful. Trust. And trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. Personal, professional, even with ourselves. So the next time you catch yourself about to bend the truth, pause. Just for a second. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Who am I protecting? And what am I risking in return? Because in a world overflowing with filters, PR spins, curated personas, and clever cover-ups, authenticity is magnetic. Honesty is brave. And truth? Truth is rare. And maybe, just maybe, that's why it's so powerful. Thanks for watching Clarity Hub. If this video gave you something to think about, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into human behavior, and don't forget to share this with someone who's fascinated by the psychology of everyday life. And in the comments below, tell us, what's a harmless lie you've told recently? And why did you do it? No judgment here, just curiosity.